So, unless you've been living in a cave or haven't had access to the internet for the past 3 days or so, you're probably aware that there was a new tranche of Epstein documents recently released by the Department of Justice. And they're terrible. They're really bad. They are so much worse than what I think a lot of people were expecting. Now, let me assure you, you ain't seen nothing yet. Like, it's bad now. It's gonna get worse. Um, but I think a lot of people were really kind of stunned by the content of these. So I figured I'd make a video kind of going through some of the highlights, if I can use that word, of these files. So I'm going to begin with the two files that have gotten probably the most social media buzz and contain probably the most lurid content, but also are the ones that need the biggest disclaimer. So with this, something that is frustrating that happened is that mixed in with these Epstein files are documents recording tips given to the FBI. Now, a big part of why most of these files took this long to release is because I think that they couldn't trust the general public with the contents of FBI tip files, as the general public has immediately shown that they can't be trusted with. You see, something that's important to remember about these FBI tip files is that these are by law required to be generated anytime someone calls in a tip to the FBI. And I think a lot of the claims made in these are being kind of quoted out of context. So, like, I'm not saying that they're wrong. It's just there's no burden of proof for these. Like, these are to be used, like, you need to go and find a way to confirm claims made in this, and then you can extrapolate extra information from the claims if they're proven to be legitimate. These just are not automatically legitimate. This is the FBI report mentioning George H.W. Bush, read chronologically from beginning to end. On Tuesday, August 27th, 2019, myself and Special Agent Blank conducted an interview of purported victim of Jeffrey Epstein, as per referral by former FBI Special Agent Blank and journalist Michael Moore, not the filmmaker. The results are as follows. At 1200 hours, a male identified as one Blank arrived at the C-20 office. Blank stated he was unemployed and resides with his mother and her unemployed, morbidly obese boyfriend. Blank stated he has ingested hallucinogenic mushrooms as well as other illicit substances in the past and currently smokes marijuana. That doesn't really matter. Blank reported being raped, and then in parentheses, sodomized by his great-uncle since the age of 5 until age 22. Blank described meeting Epstein at a yacht club in state, of which his relatives were members, first at age 5 and later at age 8. Blank states he was raped, sodomized by Epstein in 2000 on a large yacht, 9 out of whatever, as well as by former President William J. Clinton. Blank states the also current President Trump, along with his wife Melania, were present during the said yacht trip in 2000. And then in parentheses, Trump was not married to his current spouse, Melania, until 2005. Blank reports while being raped by Epstein and Clinton, he was in a heavy drug-induced state. Blank reports that all the above incidents were recovered repressed memories until he began therapy sometime in 2016 approximately. Blank offered no supporting or corroborating evidence or witnesses that could be contacted. Blank appeared to me emotionally unbalanced and not intoxicated. At this time, it is not recommended that any investigative resources be expended concerning Blank's claim. So, that's good to keep in mind. And then following this, I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim. While on this yacht, he witnessed African-American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. He was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar but left no scarring. On the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from intestines. He was also raped by George H.W. Bush. Victim disclosed he was escorted to the FBI building by Michael Moore, who is the creator of True Pundit, described by multiple online sources as a conspiracy-driven news website that attempts to paint the FBI in a bad light. Moore has a criminal record as a result of an FBI investigation, copyright infringement. And then the reply, thanks, Blank. I didn't realize Bush raped him too. Okay. So, this is the problem with the FBI tips, right? Because there's a lot of real stuff in these files, but people seem to not be able to really discern the differences. So the next one that I want to get out of the way first, because if I don't talk about this, people are going to be like, oh, why are you running cover? There's like the yellow background things where it's just like cropped statements. This is a collection of tips to the FBI regarding Trump and Epstein. The initial version of it was sent the initial version of it that's been recorded just has the notable names and then the complaint summary. There's a follow-up version, which nobody seems to be posting pictures of, that includes response, like what happens as a result of these claims being made. Blank reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. Friend told Alexis she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred. The friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral sex. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend also said she was abused by Epstein. Response: spoke with caller who identified blank as friend. Lead was sent to Washington office to conduct interview. Next one. Blank reported she has a friend, blank, who was a personal assistant to Epstein in Florida from 1986 until 1991 or 1992. This friend shared names of some of the guests at Epstein's parties, to include Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Response: 2 voicemails left, no response received. Here's another one. At age 16, while modeling, caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, caller reported that she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, her 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured caller and her friends upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated that Orrin raped her best friend, and a third brother, Tal, raped a 14-year-old girl named Blank. Caller named other individuals involved in a big orgy party with her, other young girls, and other Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Online complainant reported she was a victim and witness to a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, between 1995 and 1996. Complainant reported that Ghislaine Maxwell was the madam and broker for sex parties, clients of whom included Epstein, Robin Leach, and Donald Trump. Complainant reported participating in orgies and that some girls went missing, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility. Complainant reported being threatened by Trump's head of security there, that if she ever talked of what went on there or what she saw, she would end up as fertilizer for the back 9 holes like the other. Complainant claims to have video of high-profile sex parties dealing with cartels, having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party. The response to this: complainant was spoken to and deemed not credible. Additional research showed 3 separate, and then here it's blanked out, but then another one, 3 separate instances of institutionalization for psychological issues. It's frustrating to see those 2 being given the bulk of the actual attention here, because there's a lot of stuff in these files that is, if anything, worse, and actually from Epstein. All right, let's start going through these. Now, here we go. To blank from Jeffrey Epstein. Where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video. So just, there's a lot of evidence of just actual malfeasance here. Fun fact, the person that this is being sent to, by all indications, was Benjamin Netanyahu. Credit to Kalani Gosh for pointing that one out. Now, I'd like to just take a moment right now to thank Krushiki Supply Co. for being the one company willing to sponsor this video. They are really, like, maybe the best internet surplus, military surplus company. Definitely the weirdest in terms of the stuff they sell. Great guys, they're great sense of humor. Very, very, very interesting selection. Have you ever wanted this item? They have this item. They have this item. There'll be a link and code in the description. I would like to extend, once again, my thanks to Krushiki Supply Co. / Krushiki Industries for being willing to sponsor this video. Now, this one is a tip that actually seems to have more credibility to it. This originated from the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office and was sent along to the FBI. I got a really strange phone call as a subject line. Importance normal. This guy's name is blank, number is blank, mother's name is blank. So he tells me that he and his mother have been kidnapped several times and brought across state lines because he is the son of a hitman/drug dealer, blank. He did not know that Jeffrey Epstein was one of the men in the group that ordered the kidnapping of him and his mother until he saw his picture in the paper. He was tortured by this group, and he recognized the face in the paper as one of the people that ordered the kidnapping and watched with his very affluent group torture him and his mother and kill his attorney. He reported the kidnapping several times to Special Agent Blank in Orange County, California. Sorry, I have to send you the phone calls I get. Blank, Victim Witness Coordinator, USAO, SDNY. This is more interesting. Now, there are a lot of emails in here referring to pizza in very strange ways. This is one from Roy Hodges to Jeffrey Epstein from Saturday, March 9th, 2013. I wanted to let you know the crew really appreciated the pizza today. Thank you for letting us do that. Roy and Stephanie Hodges. Here you go. This one is from blank, and it's just April 2nd, 2016. A blanked out email address sends an email with the subject line, The Pizza Monster. It appears to include an image and then a shocked emoji and then sent from my iPhone. Jeffrey Epstein replies, she looks pregnant. And then the original sender of this replies later that month, April 26th, you mean radiating a soft glow with the look of bliss and excitement. Yeah, that's the pizza. Here's one from blank to Jeffrey Epstein vacation at gmail.com. Subject, Viru. Attachment, Viru Equity Research Brookline. This is better than a Chinese cookie. See attached. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand. Go KNO. Go no. Which is a term that seems to recur throughout this. To and from are both redacted. Subject, alert, send pizza to Bobby at 1 p.m. Don't know why they need to redact who that's from. From Daphne Wallace, sent to Jeffrey Epstein. May I bring in your slice of pizza to you? Respectfully, Daphne. 6 p.m. That's an odd email to get. So here's one. So it's just from blank, subject, slicing a pizza, to blank. And it just says hilarious, and then apparently it has an image. This gets forwarded to someone else, a bunch of Hebrew text. It gets forwarded to a guy named Yadin Dudai, with subject forward, slicing a pizza. It gets forwarded again to Prime Minister Ehud Barak, and Ehud Barak forwards it to Epstein, writing just FYI. Epstein responds to Ehud Barak, former Prime Minister of Israel, funny, equivalent to people that feel that on leap year they get an extra say. Something to remember. The official FBI investigation into Jeffrey Epstein was called Operation Leap Year. So, that seems to be connected. Slicing a pizza. What does that mean? This is from Jeffrey Epstein to Michael Wolff. Achilles heel, misspelled. Melania, transcript. Melania also focused on dates of porn star before birth of Barron or after. They also now have 2 army people escorting her kids to school. Smiley face. Which is a bizarre email. This one is from blank to blank. That's been redacted. Subject, huge problem. Hi, Ricky. I'm sorry, I know that you were busy, but a bunch of my old emails have disappeared, and they are very important. In my inbox, I have a subfolder named Leap Year, and it looks like everything earlier than September 2007 is now gone. Is there a way to retrieve them? They are now the subject of some litigation, so it's really important. Thank you, blank. Here's one from Jeffrey Epstein to Martin Nowak, who is a mathematician at Harvard. Subject, blank. And then the email just reads, did you torture her? Torture appears to be a recurring theme here. This is from Jeffrey Epstein to blank. How about a hit list for next subjects to ice cream boarding, my version of torture? Then the person he sends it to replies, what is ice cream boarding? Waterboarding with ice cream? I imagine today is torture for you. All the food and talk about food and cooking of food and gorging oneself. Happy Turkey Day anyways. Ice cream boarding? So the explanation that seems to make the most sense that I've seen is that ice cream is used as a slang term for methamphetamine, and this would refer to forcibly overdosing someone with meth, which is like a well-known thing that occurs in types of torture, but here's one. This is a screenshot of Epstein using Skype. He's talking to a contact of his on Skype just called Torture. I am still waiting and watching the melting cheese drip. Smiley face sent via BlackBerry. Watching the melted cheese drip to your Skype contact named Torture? Are they melting children? What the fuck? To Jeffrey Epstein from blank, I give you permission to kill him. He is apparently with blank. He lied to you and he lied to me. Sent from my iPhone. To Jeffrey Epstein from Urban Zen, title, save the date, feed raiser, benefiting the children of Haiti. And then the entire thing is redacted. Whole page. I don't know how much you guys know about Haiti, but that doesn't seem good. Same day, Jeffrey Epstein writes, whoops. And then the person whose name, first name appears to be Susan, just because they kind of half-assed the redaction here. No one will lie to you and get away with it from me. No one, whoops is correct, sent from my iPhone. Eva Dubin wrote, Mary Kennedy found dead in her backyard. Sent from my Verizon Wireless BlackBerry. Jeffrey Epstein replies, whoops. Here is Jeffrey Epstein sending the leaked Podesta emails to Peter Thiel. Here we go. Here's one. Hello. Inside Edition is asking if Anthony Weiner is expected to testify against Jeffrey Epstein, or if Mr. Weiner has cooperated in any way prior to Mr. Epstein's arrest. Here's one from Daphne Wallace to Jeffrey Epstein, the same Daphne Wallace, actually, that was asking him if she had his permission to bring in his pizza slice. It's just a email to do with basically renovations, but of these renovations, there's 4 picture file names that are completely redacted, which is very, very odd. On Saturday, May 2nd, 2009, blank writes, if you are not too busy, and then sends a video. 1 minute, 6 seconds long. So response, Jeffrey Epstein writes, I watched them all. Please don't send anymore. And then Ghislaine Maxwell sends to Jeffrey Epstein in this email chain, sorry, I have no stomach for even the slightest aggro. I don't have the stomach for it or for any drama, imaginary or real. I'm still fragile off the last one and scared of shadows. Now that's a really ominous thing to say. Now, unfortunately, I regret to inform you that the funniest email in all of these turned out to be fake, which is from Elon, subject, Epic Island Vacation. Hi, Jeff. I was thinking of flying down for an epic vacation. Blank told me you were planning a party. Girls for the win. I cleared my calendar. What are the details? Thank you, good sir. E. And then Jeffrey Epstein Vacation to Gmax. Deal with this. Thank you. And then from Jelaine, I'm so sorry, Elon. You just missed J.E. He actually told me he was thinking of winding down the entire Little St. James operation. Bummer. If it starts up again, we'll be sure to let you know. Now, I initially thought this one was real, too. The tone of the writing is really pretty spot on, but no, this is, in fact, fake, apparently. However, one particularly lurid one that does, in fact, appear to be real is this one to Bill Gates. Dear Bill, I cannot believe that you have chosen to disregard our friendship developed over the course of the last 6 years. You decided to discharge me from my job, had Larry, your PR person, tell me that I engaged in morally inappropriate behavior, asked me to be the major actor in a cover-up so that you can maintain the reputation you worked so hard to achieve, asked me to recommit to a college job, and told me that you direct on this relationship. Okay, so then here's a big, long, section on what Jeffrey Epstein claims he would have done if he was in Bill Gates' situation, blah, 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 blah. That's what I would have done had I been in your shoes. What I did receive, however, was an unfriendly, strongly worded email telling me how employable I am and I should not look to you for any significant financial help in the future. To add insult to the injury, you then implore me, please delete the emails regarding your STD, your request that I provide you antibiotics that you can surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your penis. You also made it clear to me that I am not to refer to blank, as that is another topic that must remain between the two of us. In return for all these requests, which I would have done without a second thought, I am not to attend meetings with Melinda. I should continue to provide you the same level of service and dedication that I have done so diligently until you are ready to discard me and our friendship. Do you know how bad it is to be kind of on Epstein's side in an argument? I have decided to resign my position, effective immediately, with BG3 and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I have not come to this decision quickly or without a great deal of thought. During the past few weeks, I have been caught up in a severe marital dispute between Melinda and Bill. I have the greatest respect for my friend of 7 years and wish them both well. In my role as his right hand, I have been asked and wrongly acquiesced into participating in things that have ranged from the morally inappropriate to the ethically unsound, and have been repeatedly asked to do things that get near and potentially over the line into the illegal. Though it was kindly suggested that I make a transition to a new position after my 6 years of servitude, and that Bill would, in his words, give me 2 years severance pay, I feel it would be dishonest to myself and to my future, from helping Bill to get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls, to facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments, as I am a medical doctor but have no prescription writing ability. What? Asking for Adderall to compete in bridge tournaments? Here's one. Harry Fish. Couldn't wait. And then it's a picture of pizza and grape soda. And then blank. Traitor. Harry Fish. This is a test. What's the name of this cookie? And it's a picture of a cookie. I only remember what the chocolate tasted like. Blank. Harry Fish. Answer is Chinese cookie not made with truffles. The fuck? Here's one. Susan Hamblin. Wait a sec. I bet that's the same. Let's scroll back up. Yeah, no, that's the person he was emailing about, you have my permission to kill him. So Susan Hamblin writes, I will be sending fresh muffins down with Karina. You currently have 2 steaks left on the island. Would you like new ones? And then as a reply, I am getting more ice creams. We're getting close to the end here. This one, subject line, spoof on chandelier, the video I sent you with the amazing little girl dance. Totally loved it. Pizza party was great. We had a lot of fun. Stayed late. We slept in all yesterday morning. Your night was good? And then, subject, U9 red pizza party. I hope that doesn't mean under 9. Hi Ben, great game today. Wanted to check and see if you might be available for a pizza party next Saturday after the friendly Darien game we were having. It's been difficult trying to find a time that most people are available to participate, but it seems the next Sat is best for most. Please let me know. Thanks, blank. And then, yes, that is fine. Can't wait. U9 red pizza party. What is a red pizza party? I'm right, I creep at night. Posse deep is how I creep. I'm right on the creep with it bucket side out. I'm about to clip